Hello guys, this is Eric with Fsx Media here to do my first tutorial video that I'll be doing a series about tweaking and doing textures and you name it. Just ask and I'll try to make a video or try to help you online. Um, First of all, like I said, my name is Eric. I've been an admin for numerous pages. The first one that I was admin for was Fsx Performance Tips, Tricks, and Tweaks, if I remember right. Um, the person who got me in was Paul Jenkins. Thanks, buddy, for all this knowledge that you have given me over the years and everything. Another page that I've been admin, it's for Pro FSX. I don't know if you guys heard that page, but it's George, Elliot, and me doing this page here, helping you guys with your NGX and whatnot. But I'm gonna introduce the PC that I'm using. It's a test bench. One of my test benches here. It's a AMD test bench. It's a 8350 at 4.8 gigahertz, and as you can see here at the right top corner, it's also G-Skill 2400, 16 gigabytes of RAM. For a GPU, I'm using a EVGA 760 superclocked. And one of the things that, like I said in this video, what I'm going to cover is how to tweak your configuration of FSX. Also how to configure your PC in order for you to get the most out of it. As you can tell, it's only using 1% of the CPU. That's because I'm using all the cores to kind of spread out the workload of the operating system. In this case, I'm using Windows 7 64-bit. I'm also going to be teaching, how to get rid of OOMs or out of memory. Most of you, you've been getting all that. It's pretty simple. How to get a faster boot, and pretty much that's about it. What I'll be covering in this section of this video. So the first thing that I want to show you is how to unpark all your cores. So pretty much, and I'll be showing you a link here at the bottom in the description where to get this code that I got from this gentleman. So I want to thank him, whoever he is. He's not an Fsx guy like us, but this is the code that we will be using. I don't know what it means, but he said to use it, and it's worked for me. Like I said, when I'm using FSX on this test bench, I'm only using like 30%, and it's pretty much how the Affinity Mask that you use. So to get to the how to unpark your cores, it's pretty simple. You go to the start menu here, and you're gonna type regedit, and it's gonna ask you. So here it is. So pretty much you're gonna go to edit, find, and you're gonna copy and paste this code and put it in here, and you hit find next. There it is. So you're gonna go to value max, you highlight it, right click, modify, and make sure it's 0. You hit OK. You go to value minimum, make sure it's 0. Once you're done with that, you go to edit, find next. Once this shows up, that means you're done, and it's gonna do that like 2-3 times, and once that's done, it's done. You hit restart, you restart your PC, and that's it from there. Like I said, undocking your cores, or unparking, what others people say, is you're gonna be spreading out the workload pretty much in an easier, faster form. Another thing I want to talk about is out of memory, or like other people call it a OOM. So pretty much you go to my computer, you right click, hit properties, and this is going to pop up. You're going to go to advanced settings, you're going to go to performance settings again, you go to advanced, you're going to go to where it says virtual memory, you're going to hit change. Now on these I have, like for instance, my operating system, I have it on my C drive, which is the SSD. FSX on this computer, I have it on the 10K. That's a a Raptor, 10,000 RPMs, so it's a pretty beastie hard drive. It's almost as fast as SSD, but not quite. SSD is still beating this thing. So what you do, it says right here recommended. So what you do, you go to recommended and you type it. You go to custom size. When you first open this up, it's gonna say automatically. But since I already did it like a while ago, you're gonna type in that number and put it in minimum and maximum. You hit set, apply, and restart your PC, and then you're done. And honestly, all the people that I've helped and all the people that I told them to do that, for some reason they say I'm not getting out of memory message and I don't get a crash anymore. So that's one thing that I told them how to fix that problem. Um, Faster boots. Many of you, I don't know. Um, Pretty much this computer, it boots up with the SSD. It boots up in under 20 seconds. It's pretty dang fast, and I like it. So that's one of the. Let me see if I can remember how to get there. So it's called the new GUI boot, and it's pretty simple. It's pretty much it's disabling Windows splash screen while booting, and it could save you a few extra seconds on the boot times, which isn't a big huge difference, but it is already fast with the SSDs. But it could make your computer really snappy pretty much. So what you do is go to start, you type in ms config. It's going to load up, and you're going to go to boot, and you're going to go no GUI boot, then you hit apply, OK, and it's going to restart your PC, and that's it. Now we're going to get to the part where things get pretty cool. It's tweaking the config of your Fsx. Now if you're for the first time doing this tweaking, it's pretty simple, nothing too hard or anything like that. It's one of the things I use is from all the knowledge that I've had for the past 3-4 years now, tweaking, starting with Paul Jenkins and all the way to Robert, Robert from Fsx Tweaks page right now. All of these gentlemen, these two guys, they helped me pretty much through this whole ordeal of tweaking, this whole fun thing of tweaking. I don't know, I see it as a very fun thing to do. So like I said, if you're doing it for the first time and people say, well, how do I get my config? Where do I get it? So what you do is you type in hidden files. So you go show hidden files, and then you go show hidden files, folders, and drives. You hit that. When you first open this, it's gonna be like this. You're never gonna find it. So you go to show hidden files, and you hit apply, OK, and that's done. Now I have a shortcut here, and since I go to that config all the time, this is how you get there. You go to users, like how it says, your name, app data, roaming, Microsoft, Fsx, and this thing opens up. Here's your config file. Okay. Now you notice on the 17th, this last time I tweaked this, which is today. I go in there, I do little tweaks here and there, make small adjustments. So when you first open it, well, first of all, there's something I want you guys to do. If you're doing this for the first time, delete this config file, or don't delete it. Just simply you can put it out there or whatever. And what you do is you leave it out, open Fsx, run as admin, of course, and it's going to build a new config. Once that's built, run the flight for 10 seconds with the first flight or whatever. Then once you're done with that, you close that flight. You set your scenery and all that stuff to where you want it. Once you're done, exit Fsx, and then open all this, and then open your Fsx config. Once it's opened, Um, Once it's opened, uh, the 3 or 4 tweaks that I'm using is that I recommend, which I haven't had one single issue, is buffer pools, the Affinity Mask, Force Window VSync, High Memfix, which is a must. Um, Also, put your upper frame rate at 0, which is unlimited. And these 3 right here, disable preload. That makes FSX load even faster. Even with an SSD or a regular HDD hard drive, it'll work. Fiber frame time fraction, that's how fast your textures load up. In this case, I'm using 15. Uh, that's what works with my system. Um, let's see, what else? Um, there's one more thing. Oh, your LOD radius, 4.5. That's the default section, and that's pretty much what I use. So, like I said, buffer pools, pool size 0 uses 0. It's the same thing as what else did they use? They use another tweak. It's pretty much the same thing, but pool size equals 0. That's pretty much what it's doing, is using sending the graphics of your CPU to your graphics card. So that's pretty much it about that one. The job scheduler, Affinity Mask of 84. I'm using an 8-core processor. That's pretty much saying that I'm using the last 4 of your cores. You can use 14, which is the first 4. You can use 27, 63, 84, 127, 252, 254. And I'm gonna, in the description also, I'm gonna use which one suits best for you. For i7s, like the 4790K, 4770K, the 4-core processors with hyper-threading, I would recommend 84 or 14. But 84 is to use all your processors. And trust me, that's going to be miracles. With this one, like I said, it's trial and error. If you're using an 8-core processor, you can use a 252 or a 254, something like that. Okay? 262, not 262, 252 will use the first 8 cores. No, sorry, the first 7 cores. So that's core 0 all the way to 7. 254, it will use the last core, so it will use core 8 all the way to core 2. Yep. And another thing that you can do is there is one website out there. Let me see if I can find it here for you guys. Right here. So it's www.gatwick. And pretty much this is the Affinity Mask calculator. Sometimes I use this. So here you go. If you're using a dual core processor, 4, 6, or 8, so like 8, you'll type 8. Hyper threading enabled, since it's an 8 core, then you wouldn't do that. All you simply do is calculate, and it'll give you the Affinity Mask right there. Okay. If you want to go, for instance, let's say you're using a quad, but you have hyper threading on. In this case, it would be for like Intels. It'll show you 84. So that's pretty much what I'm using. And like I said, it works for my system. It may not work for you. You know, you just have to play around with this thing. And here, if you want to get into more an expert mode, and if you know what you're doing, then it's pretty much telling you there. Like, let's say you want to use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You calculate, and it'll tell you that's the Affinity Mask to use, and then you just simply put that in your Affinity Mask. I do recommend, guys, to play in force window mode. You get a little bump in frames. So you would add this tweak right here, force window VSync, and that's how you would enter it. So I'm gonna leave that there for a little bit for you guys to copy it or whatever. Texture max load 2048. A lot of controversy on this one. Many say 2048 is an HD or whatever. 4096 is the way to go. FSX wasn't made for uh, 4096, according to my buddies that have been teaching me about tweaking and all whatnot. I say 2048 is the best way to go. It's still HD. You won't see a big difference. You will get higher frames. Um, it's something that I've been using 2048, and you can use it with all scenery. The high Memphis, that's I really don't know what that means, but you know, Paul Jenkins, he told me to use it. Robert told me to use it, and just pretty much everybody out there, like Costa and Matt Davis, Frugal, all those guys, they pretty much use this tweak, and it works. So that's something there that I truly recommend for you guys to use. Texture bandwidth multiplied 40. That's pretty much the standard default. You can use 80 and you can use 120. To my knowledge, that's pretty much using more CPU speed to load up your textures even faster. I leave it at 40. Hide info text. Um, that's pretty much deleting all those red, like it says pause over here. Then it has like when you change cameras, it'll show which camera you're using or whatever. So that's over here. I don't like that stuff, especially when I'm taking screenshots. You won't see none of that stuff. It's clean. You know, I don't edit this. The only thing I do, obviously, when you take a picture of FSX, pressing the V key on your keyboard, it'll be a BMT or BMP, sorry, format. So you're gonna have to switch it to a JPEG or a PNG format in order for it to show on Facebook. Um, so that's what hide info text means. Disable preload. That's pretty much when the splash screen. It pretty much loads your FSX super fast. Um, with this rig in particular, my FSX loads in about, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. 20 seconds. It's pretty fast, especially with I have a whole bunch of scenery in there that I use. Um, so yeah, disable preload equals number one. Fiber frame time fraction. That's not in there under main. That's not in there. You're gonna have to add that. So these three, um, this one, the force windowed mode, and these you're gonna have to add there on your on your um on your config. Um, One thing that I do is separate. I don't know, that's just what I do because I'm very anal about it. But that's something that I do. I change it that way. It's easier for me to search for things. So let's say if I'm up here and I want to go to graphics, I'm gonna go boom graphics, and I'm gonna look for it, which is it's up here somewhere, right here. It's the third one. So it's right here. Or if I want to go to main, main is down here. Where is it? I just saw it. Right there. Um, it's just easier for me to see where I'm at or whatever versus when everything's all bunched together. Doesn't hurt FSX or anything in any way. So that's something that I do. Let me see what else. In your load radius, pretty much that's it. This is the terrain I use, and trust me, I've been post these screenshots here. These were from this rig, the 4816 or whatever, the 8350. I mean, but the other screenshots that I've been showing is from my other rig, my main one that I use. It's my Intel i7 5820K. That one's also overclocked to 4.8. Um, you know, that one's a pretty sweet rig. I'm using DDR4, the new type of RAM. That's also 2400 megahertz, 16 gigabytes. I'm using two-way SLI of 980s from EVGA, and it's all a water-cooled system, custom loop, and man, that thing is beast. So if you have the money, in this case, this we're all from sponsors. Um, you know, that's a good system. I don't only just do FSX. I do like Watch Dogs, and I do Battlefield, and you know, all those other games. But that's on the other system. So those, I only have Watch Dogs here because I wanted to try it with this system and see how it worked, and it works. Uh, well, back to FSX. That's pretty much it about tweaking your config. Um, so it's these right here, and that's it. Um, Let me see what else I wanted to show you guys. How to make my textures look like this, but that's something that I will show you in the next video. Um, Pretty much how I have my active Skynex set up, Rex, soft clouds. I use Rex Essentials Plus, and you know, I only use Rex Essentials Plus for water, um, just for the watercolor type thing. For the water texture or the wave, I use the water configurator, which is free. And for the sky textures, I use the from AvSim, and it's pretty easy. All you do is just take the stuff and put them in your main FSX folder. Nvidia Inspector. How can you forget Nvidia Inspector? I'll show you guys, and I will put this in the description too. I've shared it on the FSX and um, the other groups. I've shared this, and it's something that I use, and I will share it here. If I can put it under the subscription, the file, but here I'll just let you guys copy it, and that's what I use. I also use DX10. For some reason, I like it. It gives me better performance. The visuals look awesome. Some people are like, "Oh, that's P3D. That's, you know, Prepare." No, it's not. It's FSX. Looks like Prepare, but it's not. It's truly FSX. I don't have the money to pay for Prepare. I mean, PMDG's coming up with it. $200 for a plane that I already have. So, no, thank you. I mean, what do you get with Prepare that you can't get with FSX, right? Um, but if you know how to tweak it right, and if you know how to and if you know how to use it, then you can get pretty cool visuals. Like, I mean, I've shared my pictures here quite a lot on the forums and the FSX groups, and that's how I set it up. So here's that, and this is, like I said, this is what I use with FSX. So if you don't know how to get here, you know, it's pretty simple. You're gonna have to download Nvidia Inspector, and this is the current one, 1.9.7.3. Once you're done with that, downloading that, you hit this little wrench and screwdriver looking thing, and this will open. Okay, now if you saw earlier, I went right here and I went to FSX. Now how do you get that? Pretty simple. You hit MS, and it's right there. MS Flight Simulator X. And since I already have it, you know, everything's already saved. And these are the settings that I use for FSX. Like I said, I'll share this and put it in the description if I can. And if I can't, then I'll put it on the forums. I do have this on my ProFSX page, and I have it in there in the in the notes, that's what I use. Now many of you have problems with EMB or Sweet FX. Um, Pretty much that's a color or a shader that would change the colors of your FSX. I don't use those. Why? Because it makes my FSX crash. Um, I don't like it. It's too hard. So what I use shade from Mogwai. I don't know how to say it. Mogwaisoft. I think that's how you say it. But that's what I use. And I mean, the images don't lie. It looks pretty sweet. And I made my own shade preset in there. So I will share that also. Um, so there's a lot of things I want to share with you guys. I like sharing my thoughts. I like sharing my configuration of how do I do it, why do I do it. You know, many people ask me to tweak their configs, and I do it. You know, when I tweak somebody's config, I have an Intel test rig, I have this AMD test rig, and I got a 4790K, and I got this 8350 from AMD, and obviously they're both different. You know, one's an AMD rig, while the other one's an Intel. So I test out the config, make sure I don't get any errors, make sure the performance is okay, and once I'm done with that, I send it out. You know, and if it needs minor adjustments, I'll go ahead and help you guys with that. Let me show you guys my FSX here real quick. Told you guys it was pretty fast. Pretty fast on loading FSX. So, like I said, I'm gonna show you the settings that I use. So you go to settings. To get the best realism, this is what I have. You know, everything to realistic on this side. I take away the display flying tips like your engines are off. It says press Control E to turn on the engines. Well, we all know that it's not that easy. So that's what I do. So for settings, graphics and all those, you go to customize. And this is what I have. I use anisotropic. It makes everything look good, even though over here looks like crap. It doesn't look like that in FSX. Trust me. But that's what I do right here. Aircraft. I don't use aircraft cast shadows on the ground. It is a little frame killer. Aircraft cast shadows on itself, that's when you get the VC shadows, like on the on this Airbus right here. For scenery, this is the biggie. This is the big one that everybody's like, well, where do I put it? How do I set it? How does everybody get, all the way to the right? You need to balance that out. And this is what I use. And like I said, if you see my screenshots, everything looks pretty good. I don't know why this skips. There you go. It always ends up at 82 when I put it at 80. But that's pretty much how I have mine. If you set it up higher, it's gonna take longer to load the flight. It's gonna, from the tweaks that I showed you guys earlier and everything, this is how my FSX looks. Like I said, FSX screenshots don't lie. For weather, this is how I have it detailed, high. For cloud coverage, that's where I have it. It doesn't make a big difference if I use the full or whatever. For traffic, I use minimum, just to have some in there. That way it doesn't look totally empty, like you're the only one in the world flying. But that's how I have it, and it makes a big difference if you go any higher. If you go any lower, obviously you're gonna get a little bit better frames, but with this rig I'm getting about anywhere from 35 to 45 frames a second. With the 5820, I'm getting about anywhere from 50 to 60 frames, as low as 45. You know, and it looks like, sometimes it looks kind of fake, to be honest with you, but you know, the smoother the better for the eyes. We can't see any more than 28 frames anyway, so people say, oh, you know, I'm only getting 20 frames, or I'm only getting 25 frames, or whatever. As long as it's smooth, you know, it's fine. Sometimes I'll get a big dip. Let's say I'm flying to um, anywhere in the UK, Manchester, or any of those UK 2000 airports. Sometimes I'll get a dip into the 15, but it doesn't even know, you can't even notice a difference. You know, your card and your CPU are really pushing it in order for you to get, even though the frames are low, your visuals and your flying experience is still pretty smooth. Um, but like I said, that's something that I do, and and that's pretty much it on my FSX and how I have it set up, and you know how to get the visuals that I have. Um, so I hope you guys learned a little bit about this. Like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys want to hear next. Let me know if this helped in any way, shape, or form. Let me know. I like hearing feedback from you guys. Um, well, I want to thank you guys for all that, for your guys' help. I like I said, I enjoy helping people. I don't like the troll guys that, you know, people ask, oh, how do I do this, or how do I get that, or what kind of cooler would I get? And somebody, an ignorant person, says, well, get a better PC, or throw your PC in the water, and stuff like that. It's pretty bogus. Like, we're a small community. We need to help each other out. So that's what I do. I push the negative to the side, and help the guy. You know, um, obviously he doesn't know much about FSX or tweaking and all that. So for the people that do know, let's help them out. You know, so that's something that I'm doing, and something, like I said, something that I enjoy doing, and I have no issues helping everybody. So let me know what you guys think, and like I said, I'll be making more videos on this, um, in the future here in this couple weeks coming up. So thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy this video. Um, Peace.